Welcome to another weekly market report with Kristen Mason Coreas. I hope you all are doing well and feeling well because I am a little bit sick and it is no fun. And also, our buyer agent is even sicker than me. So, hopefully, you all are feeling better than we are. That said, let's dive into the data for the DC metro area as of April 20th. So April 20th was this past Sunday. It was the end of Fairfax County spring break, which is the largest, one of the largest school districts that encompasses our area. So it's relevant in terms of activity. A lot of people are on vacation, whether it's buyers or sellers on vacation or realtors on vacation. So typically there's going to be less activity during a spring break week, and that is what we're seeing. So, and also, in case I haven't mentioned it already, I did double check and compare. So this year's spring break did not line up with last year's spring break. So we're not comparing apples to apples here. So the same week last year was a normal week versus a spring break week. So that's why you'll see showings are down by 23% compared to the same week last year and down 18% week over week. Purchase contracts are down 4.6% from last year, a non-spring break week, and down 5.8% from the week before, which did have one weekend, so the weekends split. You had one weekend the week before that was spring break, and then one weekend this past week. So I'm more interested to see what happens next week when we have no weekends that include spring break. Median time to contract is flat week over week, up 3 days from last year. New listings are down from last year by a touch and down from last week by 10%. Again, a bit unusual, except for the fact that it was spring break. Median list price is up year over year by almost 4% and up 2.5%. So we have not seen significant declines in the median list price in our area, not yet. Maybe that will happen as we move forward. I am watching all this closely, anticipating that we are going to see more shifts in our market as everything sorts out, as more and more people who have been laid off either find jobs or don't find jobs or decide to stay in the area or move out of the area. So I think we're going to see the impacts of the government layoffs and our economy further down the road, perhaps. Active listings are up year over year. That's a trend that continues by almost 44% and basically flat week over week. So price decreases, I haven't really been tracking that, although I might start to because I do think that may also increase. We at Homes by Mason don't usually have to decrease our listing prices, but we have now twice this year. And we might have to do some more of that. So I will probably begin to watch that a little bit more. And that's your weekly market report. I may have shared here that the information that we're seeing here, I feel like doesn't really tell the whole story and maybe gives some mixed messages because things are up and down and up and down. And I'm not really seeing trends here, strong trends here in the larger DC data. So what I do look at on Mondays is a hyperlocal look at what's happening in specifically the areas combined of Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax, and Falls Church, where we at Homes by Mason do most of our business. So I group that together and we run the data for that from Monday to Sunday each week. So I can't give it to you today because I don't have the data until Monday of each week. And so that's when I share that data. And I am seeing a trend there in contracts being down week over week over week over week compared to the year before, down by 40 to 50% year over year in terms of new contracts. So that is of concern to me. And it's been about, I think, 8 weeks now. So I would call that a trend, and it doesn't show up here. So again, just to give you a heads up, you're not necessarily seeing the whole picture here of our area. But again, that hyperlocal area, I do see a bit of a different story when I look at that stat, those stats. So if you want to see that information, go to YouTube or Facebook, and we have a Homes by Mason page on each of those places. For those people who have abandoned Facebook, you can find us on YouTube at Homes by Mason, and by 2 o'clock each week, I've got a Monday market update there. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care.